My husband, seeking excitement, brought his ex-girlfriend to our house while I was away on a business trip. When I caught them, he chose to pretend amnesia, demanding, "Who are you? Why are you breaking into my house?" Faced with my anger, he not only showed no remorse for his actions but escalated his act. "What nonsense are you talking about? My wife is right here next to me. How could it possibly be you? Are you trying to use my pretend amnesia to impersonate my wife? Do you think I'm that easily fooled?" Sarah, his ex-girlfriend, also provocatively challenged me. "That's right. I'm his wife. You imposter. Get out!" Watching him act so beyond saving, I was utterly disappointed. Though I could have produced our marriage certificate to prove my identity, I resolutely chose to turn his game against him. "Get out! My wife is Sarah. I don't even know you. If you don't leave now, I won't be so polite." This wasn't the first time he had acted so recklessly. "Don't expect to trick me with those photos on the wall. I'm sharp. I won't fall for it that easily, unless you have absolute proof, like a marriage certificate. But that's impossible. Sarah is my wife. How could you possibly have one?" Marcus's voice came again. Last time, he had used pretend amnesia because of his ex-girlfriend, Sarah. I had believed he truly had amnesia. I tried every method, like an idiot, desperately trying to prove that he and I were married. Only when I finally showed him our marriage certificate did he reluctantly believe me. And now, putting on a dramatic show again, he mentioned the marriage certificate. His clear eyes were probably reminding me to produce that irrefutable proof, the marriage certificate, to establish our relationship. That way, he could easily get through this, just like last time, using the excuse of pretend amnesia, without having to take responsibility for his actions. That way, I not only couldn't blame him but would also worry about him having pretend amnesia again, showering him with even more concern. But I knew this had no effect. Instead, it only made him worse. Watching his indifferent attitude again, my heart ached. I clenched my fists and didn't follow his lead. Instead, I countered, "Do you truly not believe I'm your wife?" Marcus sneered. "Anyone can fake documents, but a marriage certificate needs to be registered. It can be checked anytime. Faking it won't do you any good." Then he nudged Sarah next to him. "Honey, quickly get rid of this woman. How dare she impersonate you?" He thought I would panic like last time, quickly pull out the marriage certificate, and try my best to prove myself. But he didn't know how ridiculous his behavior was. He was treating me like an idiot. It was like a person having to prove they're a human, not a dog. I was completely despairing and absolutely wouldn't do anything so foolish again. I directly tore down the wedding photo from the wall and smashed it to the ground. "If being with me makes you so miserable that you choose pretend amnesia, then let's get a divorce." My words about divorce took Marcus by surprise. His face was filled with shock, and he blurted out, "Grace, you." Hearing him accurately call out my name, not treating me as a stranger. Sure enough, he hadn't had pretend amnesia. Seeing my cold gaze, Marcus realized his slip-up in his haste. His face instantly flushed, but he continued his lame performance. "Huh? Why did I suddenly call out your name? Did we really know each other before?" Looking at his expectant eyes, I shook my head. "No, we don't know each other. I'm just a fraud. You don't need to care if we know each other. Since you have a wife, we should, of course, divorce." My answer seemed to go beyond Marcus's expected script, leaving him stunned. He glared angrily at me. "What nonsense are you talking about? We don't even know each other. How could I be married to you? Do we really have a marriage certificate?" Watching him persist in his relentless act, I calmly said, "The marriage certificate is fake. You were drunk that day, and I tricked you into getting it." Seeing my insistence, completely refusing to cooperate with his strenuous masterful acting, Marcus fell silent. Sarah, on the other hand, had a light in her eyes. She straightened up and laughed. "Haha, that's exactly right, Marcus. It was my fault for not keeping a better eye on you, which led to you getting a certificate with this fraud. But it's okay. You just need to go with her once and get the divorce decree." Faced with both Sarah's and my expectations, Marcus's eyes nervously darted away for the first time. He stammered, I didn't even know such a thing actually happened. This is too sudden. Let me think about it properly." Trying to avoid the issue, seemingly wanting to gloss it over. I genuinely couldn't understand why he would refuse to divorce. Didn't he love Sarah so much? For her sake. It wasn't the first time Marcus had used pretend amnesia. If it were before, I would probably be crying and loudly questioning him. But now, I no longer cared to know what he thought. It didn't matter anymore. He had already used pretend amnesia for his ex-girlfriend. Once, and then a second time. One pretend amnesia after another had only brought me insult and harm. Knowing stubborn refusal to back down, I proactively challenged him. It's just a divorce. Why are you hesitating? What? Are you reluctant to let me go? Can't you move on? Sarah, hearing my words, became furious with jealousy, though we were supposed to be rivals. At this moment, she stood with me on the same front. She looked at the hesitant Marcus and asked, aggrieved, Marcus, didn't you say your heart could only hold me? Under pressure, Marcus finally gritted his teeth and declared, fine, divorce then, but you get out of here right now. This is my house. You're not my wife. You're not allowed to stay. Marcus was very angry. He seemed to be threatening me. In the past, I probably wouldn't have been able to tolerate it, but now, I suddenly felt much lighter. Okay, I'm leaving. I turned and walked away directly. I moved into a separate house. This house had been bought by my parents and given to me for our wedding. However, Marcus was unwilling to live in it. He found all sorts of faults, saying the house wasn't good, and insisted I buy a house further from my parents as our marital home. After buying the new house, this one became a place for me to keep memories. Whenever I had conflicts, I would come here alone for a few days. Sometimes, looking at the photos on the wall, filled with memories of Marcus and my youth, I would calm down, remember his good qualities, and then humble myself to appease him. But now, looking at these photos from different periods on the wall again, I no longer felt the same way. They only made me feel irritated. That night, I was scrolling through my phone and saw Marcus conspicuously flaunting photos of him and Sarah's affection on his social media feed. In the photos, they were hand in hand, openly showing affection, as if they were a perfect match. Marcus's friends below responded with exclamations, so jealous. They truly are childhood sweethearts and a perfect match. What's going on? Marcus is with Sarah again? Shouldn't he be with Grace? Who says exes can't get back together? True lovers will always find their way back to each other, no matter the distance. Posting this publicly on social media, Grace will see it, won't she? So what if she sees it? I think Marcus should be with Sarah. As for Grace, she doesn't deserve Marcus at all. Grace just got the CEO position at the company at such a young age by relying on being a wealthy heiress. She can't compare to an accomplished professional with an international education like Sarah. I think Marcus's decision is absolutely correct. Exactly. Being rich isn't everything. Money isn't omnipotent. Only true love is eternal. Reading these replies, I smiled bitterly. So this was how Marcus's friends viewed our relationship. It was conceivable how his psychology must have changed under the influence of these friends around him. This environment led to his reunions with his ex, and also to his repeated pretend amnesia. Thinking back, when he was poor, I never looked down on him. I thought that by giving him the best material life, I could win his true affection. But now, I realized I was wrong. Even giving him the best material life in the world couldn't capture a person's heart. Everything had changed subtly, quietly, calmly, and so naturally. Snapping out of my thoughts, I immediately cut off Marcus's shared credit card. Then, I called a friend. Help me investigate someone. Late at night, just as I was about to go to bed, Marcus called, furious. Grace, what do you mean? Why is my card frozen? I replied, that's my shared credit card. Freezing it is my right. Marcus angrily yelled, but I've been using this card all along. How could you freeze it without even a word? Do you know my friends are waiting for me to pay the bill? You're humiliating me. Listening to his complaints, I almost laughed out loud. You're not my husband. Why should I let you squander my money? Without waiting for him to continue yelling, I hung up. Soon, he called again, but this time I turned off my phone and went to sleep. My friend's efficiency was high. The next morning, information about Sarah's past few years appeared before me. So that's how it is. Looking at the intelligence, I calmly nodded. Do one more thing for me, quickly. After giving instructions, I opened my phone. A string of messages from Marcus appeared. I feel like I'm remembering something. We seem to have really met before, haven't we? Last night, a fragment flashed through my mind, you holding my hand, us walking on the beach together, and the year you were sick. I was a graduate student then, but I gave up the opportunity to take the entrance exam for you. resolutely choosing to take care of you, wiping you down, bathing you, watching him play his boring pretend amnesia game again. I laughed. Had he forgotten who was screaming hysterically on the phone last night? Or was it only after I cut off his credit card that he remembered who his wife was? But before I could reply, Marcus sent another message. I'm not sure if these are dreams or reality. What should I do? His faint question seemed like he was giving me an out. But wasn't it ridiculous? He was with his ex-girlfriend behind my back. Even openly brought her home. He didn't expect me to come back early from my business trip. When I caught them, he pretended amnesia. And now, I cut off his credit card, and he's trying to give me an out? Once, I did foolishly follow his script. But now, I only felt like I was a naive fool back then. I decisively replied, "Those are your dreams." Marcus almost instantly replied, "But I found your contact in my phone, and I even saved it as wife." Reading that message, I smiled. His attempts to win me back with such feigned ignorance only made me more disgusted. I replied, "Stop pretending. I'm not your wife. Let's get a divorce. I'm already here. You should come quickly too." He sent a few more messages, but I couldn't be bothered to look at them. If I hadn't cut off his credit card, would he have recovered his memory so quickly? Over the years, I had given him everything I could, even the balance on the card, but he never cherished it. Yet, Sarah, whom he loved most, wouldn't give him the balance on the card. Instead, she would need to squander the balance on his card. How ironic. I arrived at City Hall and waited for almost 2 hours before Marcus finally appeared. He brought Sarah with him. After they got out of the car, they kissed openly, oblivious to others. I watched silently. When they were done with their performance, I stepped forward. "Since you're both here, let's go inside." My firm tone made Marcus uncomfortable. Seeing that he seemed to want to back out, I provoked, "What? If you love your Sarah, shouldn't you divorce me quickly?" Sarah looked at Marcus, aggrieved. "Marcus, it's just this one step." Under multiple pressures, Marcus gritted his teeth. "Humph. It was supposed to happen anyway. I thought the divorce would proceed smoothly this time." But just as we were about to enter, Marcus suddenly squatted down and said, "My stomach suddenly hurts badly. Sarah, take me to the hospital." Looking at his clumsy act, I shook my head. Not hurting before, not hurting later. Just as we were at the finish line, he had a stomachache again. Before I could retort, Sarah unhappily said, "Marcus, a stomachache isn't a big deal. Just bear with it a little longer. Once the papers are signed, I'll take you to the hospital immediately." "No!" Marcus grabbed Sarah's arm, his eyes red, as if he really was in great pain. "I have to go now. I'm really hurting badly." "But this..." Sarah was clearly unhappy. I, on the other hand, smiled. They say good things take time. For me now, divorcing Marcus was a good thing. In that case, let's go to the hospital first. We can come back this afternoon to finalize the divorce. I waited until the afternoon, but Marcus seemed to have disappeared. He didn't show up again, nor did he reply to my messages. I knew he was stalling, but divorce, allowing him to be with the person he loved, wasn't that a good thing? Shouldn't he readily agree? Why be so reluctant now? He really was sick. A few days later, my friend came. Ever since I saw Sarah's information from these past few years, I had instructed my friend to handle something. Now, it was done. I offered my friend a sum of money. My friend immediately politely refused. "It's too much." I stated with certainty, "It's not too much. I need you to do one more thing for me. Do this well, and I'll give you any amount of money." After giving the instructions, my friend nodded and left. Just as I was about to drink some coffee, Marcus appeared. He also had the keys to this house and let himself in without needing me. Seeing him reappear after disappearing for several days, I calmly continued drinking my coffee, as if I hadn't noticed him. A living person. Marcus bit his lip, quietly watching me for a long time before finally speaking. "Are you pretending not to see me?" I mimicked his earlier attitude. "Excuse me. Who are you? Why are you breaking into my house?" Marcus stiffly began. "I remember everything now. Grace, I'm your husband. Are you hallucinating?" I scoffed. "How could you be my husband? Your wife is Sarah." He seemed to have anticipated my words and took out several photos, handing them to me. "Remember these? This is a photo from when I proposed to you. And this one. This was our first Valentine's Day together. This one, our wedding anniversary. He rambled on, constantly detailing our past, trying to reawaken my feelings for him, but I suddenly cut him off, mimicking his earlier manner. Why are you photoshopping pictures to impersonate my husband? Don't expect to fool me with these cheap tricks. I'm sharp. I'm not that easily fooled. Almost the exact same words seemed to humiliate Marcus fiercely, instantly draining the color from his face. He stomped his foot in anger. His chest heaved. Yes, you're right. I am a stranger, and you are not my wife. Seeing me still cold and unmoved, he turned and ran. As he went downstairs, he accidentally missed a step and tumbled down more than a dozen stairs. When he picked himself up, his face was covered in tears. Yet I still said coldly, "Please don't break into my house again, Grace. You're a bastard." He didn't linger, just cursed me and ran out crying. If it were before, no matter how great his mistake, seeing him like that, I might have rushed out to comfort him, perhaps even forgive him. But now, I only felt a profound peace within, no ripples, as if everything was meant to be this way. In the evening, I once again saw Marcus's social media post, flaunting photos of him and Sarah's affection. This time, it came with a caption, "No matter what, it's truly wonderful to have you by my side." Below, his friends commented, "Looks like these two are really getting together this time. After all, first love is the best." So envious. Did and Grace divorce? They should have divorced long ago. What does Grace have besides money and arrogance that can compare to Sarah? She doesn't deserve Marcus at all. After a quick glance at the comments on Marcus's social media post, this time, I chose to be an observer and commented below, "Congratulations. True love always prevails." Soon, a guy sent me a message. It was Alex, Marcus's college classmate. "Grace, what happened between you and Marcus?" "Nothing much. We're getting a divorce soon," I replied. Alex sent a surprised emoji and asked, "How could this be? Weren't you two always so affectionate? I remember Marcus used to post so many loving social media posts about you two. We single people were so envious. How did you two break up so suddenly? Did you change your mind? Or did Marcus abandon you?" Seeing incessant questions in the chat box, I thought he was very nosy, but after some thought, I still replied, "What do you think?" Alex replied with an embarrassed laugh emoji. "Did he go back to his first love and dump you?" I gave him a thinking emoji and didn't reply further. Waking up the next day, I saw many messages Alex had sent late at night. The most important one was, "Grace, what do you think of me?" As I pondered this, Kevin, another friend of Marcus's, also sent a message, "Grace, are you there?" After a brief chat, Kevin cursed. "Marcus really doesn't appreciate what he has. What does Sarah have that can compare to you?" Watching curse Marcus like that, I was puzzled. I reopened Marcus's social media feed. When posted his previous update, this Kevin had clearly commented there, egging Marcus on to break up with me and saying I didn't deserve Marcus at all. But now, this person was secretly messaging me, badmouthing Marcus. Two-faced. There truly were such men in this world. Sure enough, Kevin then subtly began to express sympathy for me and mentioned that he was also single. Seeing that I still didn't get it, Kevin became more direct. "Actually, I think you're a really good person. If possible, could we try dating?" As if afraid I'd misunderstand his directness, Kevin added, "Don't get me wrong, I'm not a casual person, but actually, I've liked you for a long time, and because of you, I haven't dated anyone until now. If you and Marcus hadn't broken up, I wouldn't have been able to help but express what's in my heart." Watching repeatedly try to explain himself, I smiled. Marcus was surrounded by such people. No wonder Marcus could do those things. I was in no mood to deal with Kevin anymore and got up to go to the company. As soon as I left the house, I saw Marcus. His eyes red from crying. He was squatting outside the door, weeping. "Why are you back again?" I asked calmly. "Did you agree to the divorce?" "I'm sorry." Marcus looked at me, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry, Grace. I'm really sorry," Marcus said with a choked voice. "I really shouldn't have used pretend amnesia, and I shouldn't have clung to the past. During this time, I've thought it through. I've wronged you. Please forgive me this once. Can we get back together?" I didn't speak. I walked past him. As I got into the car, I looked back and said, "If you truly know you're wrong, you should agree to the divorce. But if you don't agree, I'll find a lawyer to handle it." Without another word, I drove away. When I arrived at the company, it suddenly started to pour. The heavy rain lasted all day, showing no signs of stopping even when I left work. I stood by the window, looking at the city drenched by the downpour. For some reason, the image of Marcus squatting outside the door and crying that morning flashed through my mind. I had thought I could easily let go of everything, but now, I realized that people have feelings. It was impossible to be absolutely cold. Just then, my secretary knocked on the office door. She came in with a meal container. Ms. Grace, your husband delivered dinner for you. Him? I looked at the heavy rain outside, then at the meal container. Yes, Ms. Grace. Mr. Marcus personally came through the heavy rain to deliver it, the secretary said enviously. Your affection for Mr. Marcus truly makes all of us colleagues so jealous. In the past, I would have felt a sweetness in my heart too, but now, the secretary's envy filled my heart with bitterness. I asked, where is he? Mr. Marcus asked me to hand it over, and then he left, the secretary said. The rain outside was very heavy, and he was drenched. I originally told him to deliver it to you personally and wait until the rain subsided before leaving, but Marcus said he didn't want to disturb you at work. He also said to take care of yourself, not to work too late, and to come home early because he has something to tell you. I nodded and told the secretary to leave. Opening the meal container, it was filled with all my favorite foods. Thinking of all the meals he had cooked for me with his own hands over the years. Thinking of when we first started dating and lived together. How he would stay up late waiting for me to come home. A series of memories flashed through my mind. For some reason, I felt a pang of melancholy. Just as I was about to eat, I heard a sound outside the door again. Then the door opened. A very handsome man, dressed sharply, burst in despite my secretary's attempts to stop him. It was Kevin, Marcus's best buddy. He also carried a meal container. The rain is heavy today, and I know you're a workaholic, so I specially cooked dinner for you myself. Kevin's words trailed off. Seeing the dinner someone else had already delivered on my desk, he paused. It seems I'm late? Looking at the manipulative schemer before me, I calmly smiled. Please don't come to the company again. Kevin looked at me somewhat dejectedly. Marcus has already moved on to someone else. Can't you give me a chance? Am I really that undeserving of you? I stated bluntly. Yes, you truly are undeserving of me. He hadn't expected me to be so direct. He punched the door in anger and left in a huff. Taking over the family business and becoming the CEO of the group at a young age, while seemingly glamorous, was not easy. I worked until 10 at night before finally being able to relax and leave the company. The rain outside had stopped. As I drove off, passing the transit station, I saw a guy holding an umbrella waving at me. Grace. Seeing my car pass by, the guy was delighted and happily walked over. Great, Grace. Can you give me a ride? The one who flagged down my car was Alex, Marcus's college classmate. Late at night, he was all alone. I should have felt sympathy and given him a ride. But now, I had no good feelings for any of Marcus's friends or classmates. I didn't want to stop, but he was already in front of the car. I had no choice but to brake sharply. Watching him tugging at the car door, I frowned. Having no other option, I gave him a ride. Alex immediately started complaining once he got in the car. The company is too far from home, and it rained so heavily. I was really stuck. So glad I ran into you. I didn't respond to him, saying coldly, "Where are you going?" Sensing my coldness, Alex frowned slightly. "Willow Apartments. Sit properly and fasten your seatbelt." I drove off without another word. When we reached the apartment entrance, Alex opened the car door, ready to get out, and asked, "Thank you for the ride. Do you want to?" "No." Before he could say anything, I flatly refused. Alex looked at me somewhat aggrieved. "I just wanted to thank you." "No need." I concisely and coldly refused again. Alex said no more and got out of the car. Even when the car had driven far away, he was still standing there, seemingly wanting to watch me leave before heading back. I didn't stop. I didn't want to interact with anyone related to Marcus. I returned to the house. It was already 11 at night. The lights in the house were on. I knew Marcus was inside. Sure enough, he was just like before, asleep at the dining table, the food on the dining table cold and untouched. In the past, this scene had touched my soft heart countless times. But now, this scene seemed ironic and ridiculous to me. I walked past him, preparing to go upstairs. Perhaps my footsteps woke Marcus, as he called out, "You're back?" I stopped and looked at him. He paused and then said, "Are you hungry? Why don't you go take a hot shower first? I'll warm up the food, and you can eat a bit before going to bed." I asked, "Why go to all this trouble? What?" Marcus looked at me expectantly, seemingly not understanding what I was saying. I shook my head. "You should be putting this effort into your wife, Sarah, not me." Marcus lowered his head. "I know I've wronged you, but Sarah, what she does is none of my business." I suddenly felt very agitated, yelled, and turned to go upstairs. I went to the bathroom, took off my clothes, and was about to take a shower, but the door behind me opened. Then, a broad shoulder wrapped tightly around me from behind. Marcus rested his head on the back of my head. "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know you hate me now, but no matter what, we're not divorced yet, and I'm still your legal husband." When I woke up the next morning, he was already dressed and standing in front of me. "I never noticed before, but you look so cute when you sleep." Seeing me say nothing, he smiled. "I've already made breakfast. It's all your favorites. Get up quickly, or it won't taste good when it gets cold." Seeing him seemingly transformed back into his old self, my heart suddenly felt a little heavy, but I still stopped him with a cold tone. "Even if you do this, I will still divorce you." I thought he wouldn't agree, but this time Marcus was surprisingly agreeable. "Okay, I agree to the divorce, but next month is your birthday. Please let me spend this birthday with you. Then, whatever you say, I'll agree unconditionally." I hadn't expected Marcus to agree so readily. It seemed a little unreal. I thought for a moment and said, "Since we're breaking up anyway, I'll give you a gift." I handed him the content of my chat with Kevin. After reading it, his face turned livid with anger. Kevin, I've always considered him my best buddy, but I didn't expect him to be two-faced, and such a manipulative schemer behind my back. "You really need to screen your friends carefully." I smiled meaningfully. Marcus gritted his teeth and declared, "I will definitely cut him off." Watching him suddenly realized, I had originally wanted to tell him more about Sarah, but after some thought, I decided to put it off for now. A month later, my birthday was approaching. Marcus had already arranged a birthday party for me, saying it would be our last night together. Thinking that after tonight, I could divorce him, I gladly accepted the invitation. When I arrived at the party, many people were already there, not only Marcus's friends but also mine. However, some people looked at me with a strange glint in their eyes. Since was nowhere to be seen, I aimlessly wandered through the party, occasionally chatting with friends. Soon, I overheard some gossip. "Did you hear?" "About what?" "I heard Marcus wants to make Grace look bad tonight. Something about teaching Grace a lesson. You can imagine the specifics yourself." "I think I heard something about Marcus cheating in his marriage and getting back with his ex, then wanted a divorce." "Is it true?" "It must be. I also heard Grace isn't a good person either. She hadn't even divorced Marcus yet, and she was already trying to hook up with Marcus's friend, Kevin." "I heard that too." Grace, relying on her wealth and power, wanted to toy with Kevin. Of course, Kevin didn't agree, so Grace offered him $5 million on the spot to sleep with her for one night. $5 million for one night. Wow, that much money? Did agree? No, he didn't. Kevin said it wasn't about the money, but about dignity and self-respect. "Well done." I quietly listened to the rumors. At first, I didn't know who was spreading them, but after hearing the later parts, I generally understood. Kevin, that manipulative schemer, would have already succumbed for $500,000, let alone $5 million. Would he not bend for $5 million? This story could only have been fabricated by himself. It was probably because Marcus and Kevin had a falling out that Kevin deliberately spread various rumors. I didn't pay much attention. Soon, with a commotion from upstairs, Marcus finally appeared. He didn't appear alone but brought Sarah with him, hand in hand. Sarah was wearing a diamond-encrusted snow's embrace gown, like a princess from heaven. The dazzling light and luxurious attire, coupled with her already outstanding figure, caused an uproar the moment she appeared. "So beautiful. Sarah is so radiant tonight. I know that gown of hers. It's called Snow's Love, meticulously handcrafted over 5 years by a world-renowned designer. A few years ago, it sold for a staggering $990 million at an auction abroad, with 999 top-grade diamonds encrusted on it. Later, people found out that it was Grace who bought the Snow's Love gown. Grace used that gown as her wedding dress when she married Marcus. Amidst the uproar, my face grew increasingly grim. They were right. To give Marcus a grand wedding and as a testament to our love, I had bought the Snow's Love male and female suit set at all costs. Every anniversary, we would wear the Snow's Love set. Back then, I truly felt it was sweet. And tonight, Marcus, under the guise of hosting my birthday party, had Sarah wear the Snow's Love wedding dress. Marcus and Sarah, wearing what used to be my wedding attire, made a high-profile entrance, hand in hand. I then realized that he had meticulously planned to use this birthday party to utterly humiliate me. What a truly vicious scheme. What followed was, without a doubt, inevitable. Amidst everyone's exclamations, Marcus proudly led Sarah by the hand and came before me. They stared at me with an air of smug superiority, as if displaying their victory. "Is this the birthday party you organized for me?" I asked Marcus, confirming for the last time. Marcus sneered. "That's right. Why did you think I was so submissive to you? You didn't really believe I couldn't live without you, did you? What I wanted was to completely humiliate you tonight. I want to make you realize that leaving me was the biggest mistake of your life. After tonight, you'll become a laughingstock for everyone." He leaned in and whispered a few menacing words in my ear. Then, facing everyone's gaze, he raised Sarah's hand. "Everyone, welcome to Grace's birthday party tonight. Those who have graced us with their presence are all friends. You also know that Marcus and Grace are still married. But since everyone is here, I'll take this opportunity to announce. I, Marcus, officially declare today that I am with Sarah. As for Grace, I will dump her." Marcus then took out a set of divorce papers and said to everyone, "These are the divorce papers. I'm signing them right now, in front of everyone." He signed them with a flourish, then handed the divorce papers to me. Looking at the divorce papers, and the strange looks from everyone around, Marcus thought I would be utterly humiliated. But he was wrong. I waved my hand, and a lawyer came forward to examine the divorce papers for me. The lawyer finished checking and nodded to me. "Ms. Grace, these divorce papers are exactly the ones we sent. There are no issues." Good. Since there were no issues, of course, I signed them promptly. After signing, I immediately felt much lighter. Looking again at Marcus and Sarah's smug, arrogant expressions, I smiled. "You think this humiliates me? That you've finally gotten even? What else would it be?" Marcus retorted haughtily. Sarah also sneered. "Grace, from today onwards, everyone will know that you are a complete failure. Always beneath me, always trampled underfoot by Sarah. Is that so?" I smiled. Since we had completely burned bridges, the things I'd asked my friends to prepare finally had their moment. I immediately made a call. "Start it." Marcus and Sarah looked at me, unsure what I was going to do. Suddenly, all the lights in the banquet hall went out. Immediately after, on the dark walls, a series of projected images appeared clearly. Everyone's gaze was fixed on the projection. It showed Sarah's various misdeeds during her years abroad, frequenting all sorts of places, even serving time in prison, and high-definition images and photos of her promiscuous relationships with various men. The ending even showed photos of multiple people in a chaotic situation. The crowd gasped, "Is that Sarah? Sarah seems so innocent. I never thought she'd be so wild overseas. So dirty. How disgusting. I can't stand the last picture." At this moment, all the lights came back on, meeting the disgusted gazes of the crowd. Sarah's face turned pale. "Grace, you're so insidious." Her words undoubtedly confirmed that everything was true. Another round of gasps and murmurs spread through the surroundings. I smiled faintly. "Compared to you, my little tricks are less than a tenth of yours." Before could roar in anger, I clapped my hands again. The venue fell silent, and an audio recording clearly played throughout the party. In the audio recording, it was Sarah's voice. "Heh. You don't actually think I like Marcus, do you? That idiot. I'm just playing with him. Once I've squeezed all his money out and I'm tired of him, I'll dump him." As the audio recording echoed through the venue, Sarah completely panicked. But such a petty schemer was not my goal. Of course, I did all this for Marcus. If exposing Sarah's sordid past abroad was a harsh blow to Marcus, then this audio recording now was a heavy blow that completely shattered all of Marcus's illusions. But what neither I nor anyone else expected was this: Marcus, after learning all of this, did not break down. After learning the truth, he not only didn't detest Sarah, but he even hugged her in front of everyone and kissed her desperately. After a passionate kiss lasting over 10 minutes, Marcus, almost in a frenzy, looked at me. "Grace, you think this will make me lose to you? You're ridiculous." Even if Sarah lied to me, Even if she doesn't like me at all, even if she's just playing with my feelings, I won't mind. Not only will I not mind, but I will still love her. Love her to death. Even such as Sarah is 1,000 times better than you. Everyone was dumbfounded, watching him in disbelief, as if they were looking at an unreasonable madman. In his arms, Sarah's originally pale face, due to this sudden defense and declaration of love, showed a strange and complex blush. She looked at me as if saying, "See, even if I am so flawed, he still chooses me." Facing this scene beyond normal comprehension, the last ripple in my heart, born from the past, completely settled. I slowly clapped my hands, the crisp sound especially clear in the silent hall. Brilliant, truly brilliant. My voice was calm and steady, with a hint of faint mockery. "Marcus, I used to only think you were childish and selfish. Now I realize you are actually pathetic. You'd rather embrace a meticulously woven lie, a woman who sees you as a plaything and an ATM, than face a genuine emotion once genuinely given. It's not because Sarah is so wonderful, but because you are cowardly. You don't dare to admit your mistakes. Don't dare to face the reality after losing your privileged life. You could only use this extreme way to self-medicate, to prove how great your pathetic love is." I walked forward, took the divorce papers, already signed by both parties, from the lawyer's hand, and carefully put them away. "Thank you for your final performance. It only solidified my conviction that leaving you was the smartest decision of my life." My gaze swept over him and Sarah. "I wish you both, in mutual deceit and self-pity, to be bound together for life." Having said that, I no longer paid attention to the shocked expressions on their faces, turned to face the guests present, and smiled. "Everyone, I apologize for the farce tonight. The birthday party ends here. Thank you all for coming. Also, I formally announce that the Shin will terminate all cooperation with Mr. Marcus's companies and associated individuals. As for Ms. Sarah," I paused, looking at the white moonlight whose face had turned pale again. "You are suspected of illegally occupying my personal property, the snow's embrace gown that you're wearing. I will legally reclaim it. My lawyer will contact you to prepare for legal responsibility." Without another word, I straightened my back and left under everyone's gaze. Outside the door, the night breeze was cool, dispersing the suffocating stench from the hall. My friend's car was already waiting at the entrance. "Resolved?" my friend asked. "Yes, completely resolved." I opened the car door and got in, feeling lighter than ever before. The follow-up. Let's proceed as planned. A month later, I received the court's ruling. The snow's embrace gown was successfully recovered. As for Marcus and Sarah, it is said that after losing my financial support and some deliberate business pressure I applied, they fell into severe economic difficulties and endless mutual accusations. Their love that surpassed all, in the face of the mundane realities of life and cruel reality, seemed so hollow and laughable. Occasionally hearing news of them from others, my heart remained completely undisturbed. Some people are just passers-by and lessons in life. I dedicated more energy to work and spending time with my family. My life filled and peaceful. As for love, I believe that only by saying goodbye to the wrong can one meet the right. The road ahead is long, and I am ready to move forward unburdened to welcome the truly clean and bright happiness that belongs to me. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.